Julie and Megan weekend special, which I love. So when we started doing these, if you remember back, I used to be able to do Saturday morning cartoons every week there for a while, and it was Julie's weekend special. But these have evolved into special events that are always a Julie and Megan weekend special, because Megan is such a huge part of these. She helps to plan them. She comes up with all these cool different things to show off. She sends me these amazing boxes of goodies in the mail to show everybody. So these are definitely the Julie and Megan weekend special. Oh my goodness, we have friends joining us already. Hello there. I see Laura's here. Hello, Cindy, Jan, Mary Beth, Jody, Judy. Hello. And of course, the wonderful Megan is in the background helping us, so you'll see her in the chat. Hello, Jerry in Laguna Hills, and Tracy there in Texas. Hello, Tracy. Lizbeth in Wisconsin. CNY Lori up in New York. Hello there, Sue in Iowa. Millie's in New York too. Hello, Millie. Mary in Oklahoma. Debbie and Denise. Hello. Helene, so both Denise and Helene are there in Florida. Tina's here, hello. Gail is a very hot Saturday in Sacramento. I believe that because we are a very hot Saturday here in the Los Angeles area. Hello, Valerie in New York. Lots of people from New York. Hello, you guys. Janet is in Texas as well. Hello, Rita. Christy, good morning. Ilka from Minnesota. Oma. Oh, Oma says hello to Twix. She is, where is she? She's off doing something. She'll probably join us because this will be a favorite of hers, because it was a favorite of hers prep yesterday. It was Kumihimo, which is what we're going to do today. And that involved lots of dangling bobbins and string. So if you have a cat, you are going to become their best friend and their playmate if you're not already, because you're going to have all these dangling bobbins that they're going to go nuts for. Hello, Deb in Florida, Ellen in Cape Cod. Hello, Lori in Illinois. Oh my goodness, who else joined us? Hello, BJ and Rochelle and Debsy. Oh, thank you. All right, guys. Yeah, she is going to love it. I'm actually kind of hoping that she's in the other room and doesn't really hear what's happening, because, yeah, we had fun with her yesterday. She definitely was enjoying it because I was doing some prep work. Oh, thank you, Debsy. I haven't had a chance to wear this much. It's nice though, it's airy, because it is going to be hot here in Los Angeles. So I am coming here to you from the Los Angeles area. I'm in Southern California. It is a hot, hot day here for us. Summer feels like it is in full swing. We are live here on Artbeat. So if you are watching this right now, it is 8:04 a.m. on this Saturday morning in June. We love doing these live shows. We normally do them Monday through Friday. Every day of the week has a different show. There's the wonderful Becky Dahl and Deb Floros. And then every once in a while, Megan and I put together a special Saturday show. And the Saturday shows are fun because they usually have a bit more happening. And so today we're going to do Kumihimo. If you're not familiar with Kumihimo, it is a braiding technique. It uses a disc like this. It's really fun and it's actually really easy. I often relate Kumihimo to knitting or crocheting. So if you are someone who likes to work with like fiber arts, or you like to have a technique that is pretty relaxing and zen-like, something you can sit on the couch and do as you watch TV, or watch the kids or the grandkids, this is that technique, because once you get the hang of it, it becomes a rhythm and you can kind of tune out your mind a little bit and you don't have to focus so much on what you're doing. It just becomes repetitive motion. And so it's really fun and relaxing. And then you see this really cool braid take form. So what we're going to be doing today specifically is a classic 8 warp spiral beaded Kumihimo braid. I'm going to show you how to wind your bobbins, how to load your disc, how to do the braid, how to remove the braid, and how to finish it. So we have a lot to cover. You will know by the end of today how to make a bracelet from start to finish. So that is going to be fun because it's everything all in one, which is what is so great about these Saturday shows, is that we can have the time that we need to really focus and do like some of these longer projects. I still am not going to make a full length of a bracelet because that would take even longer, but we will show the process every step of the way. And then I do have one braid that is already off the disc that we'll be able to fully finish. And I have a bunch of samples as well. So that's what we're going to do for our technique today. And then wait till you see my table, because Megan sent me all these really cool samples of different tools. If you do like fiber arts, like crochet hooks, crochet knitting needles, things like that, and they're on sale right now. All Tulip is 25% off for this weekend, so that's really neat. Oh, Oma, I'm seeing your question. How about how to do some of the different patterns that people do? I can talk that through. I think we're going to do the classic spiral because I think that's the one that everyone should learn on, because when you'll see it on the actual Kumihimo disc, when you're doing a 2-color spiral, it really teaches you and how to do the technique. And it's really easy to see visually. So as you're learning this technique, if you're new to it, the 2-color spiral is very helpful. And then once you've mastered it, you can go on to color blocking, which is another technique. You can go on to using 2 different sizes of beads. So you get like a recessed spiral and then a one that's a little bit more on the outside. You can do graduated colors, you can do ombre, you can do a lot of different things with Kumihimo. So I will definitely share tips on how you get those different patterns. I think we should start though with the 2-color spiral, which is gonna look something like, this is a good one to show, like this, where you have 2 colors that spiral throughout the whole braid. And that's going to be really easy to learn on. I'm also going to show you different finishing options, because you can use a magnetic clasp like this, which is great, or you can actually use barrel end caps. And I have some to show you. And I'll show you how to convert one like this that just has a hole. So then you would then be able to use any clasp you like. So if you use a barrel end cap, some of them have a little hook on them, some of them don't, both work. Then you would be able to use whatever clasp you like, toggle, lobster, whatever you like. Can you make it thinner? Yes. So if you wanted to do thinner, so what we're going to be doing, let me show you. I should just flip my camera down. It'd be easier. Let me do that. Let me flip my camera down, because then when I show you all of this, it's going to make a little bit more sense. Let me just quickly, for anyone who is new to us, let me just help you with just some of the ways that this works real quick before I flip that camera down. We are live, which is great. So if you're here on artbeads.com, if you type into the comment section, I can read your comments, Megan can, the wonderful community can read them. It is a super great supportive community. So if you have a question, post it there in the comments. I'll try to catch it, Megan will catch it, but also our friends here will catch it as well. So that's a really great way of talking back and forth. You can also share anything you like. You can, like my husband's in North Carolina right now, share, that's what mine is. My husband's out of town in North Carolina right now. But share whatever you like. This is a great way to start the day. We're all friends here. And then also, if you have any questions about anything I'm using, there is a little shopping bag icon. If you just click on that, it shows everything I'm going to show, which is a lot today because Megan also made some really great Kumihimo colorway kits. So that's also great if you're starting out and they're on sale, buy one, get one half off. So that's awesome. So those are all going to be there as well in that shopping bag. And then you can add them to your cart, but you can also see the price and the quantity and all that good stuff. If you like what you see, there's a little heart icon, and then there's also a share icon. I do want to note, if you're on YouTube or Facebook right now, I can't see your comments live. So please pop on over to artbeads.com, and then when you comment, we can talk back and forth. And I saw we had a lot of friends join us. Hello, Heather and Sharon. Oh my gosh, Tina. I know I missed a couple of friends. Carol Ann. Hello, Brenda Lee. Okay, I'm sorry, Hannah in Iceland is here. Hello, Hannah. Robin. Oh my gosh, I know I missed some friends. I'm sorry. I'm gonna flip my camera down right now though, so I can start to show this visually, which I think is gonna be a lot easier. Okay, so here it is. Hello, Lisa. Okay, so you can see Megan sent me a ton of goodies. We're gonna look at all of those. There's all these colorways, so we've got a lot. And then we're also gonna do 3 giveaways today. You do need to be here on Art Beads to participate in the giveaway. So I'll show you what the giveaways are gonna be in just a minute. But I wanna go back to that question of, can you make it thinner? Okay, so let me take a sip of water. Okay, so what I always recommend if you are new to this is to start with the 8 warp braid using something. This is one of Megan's colorway kits. Let me open this up because I can show this visually better. So here's a colorway kit that Megan put together, and it's the one we're going to be using today because it's got some nice high contrast, which is going to be much easier for us to see. So in a colorway kit, and there's a couple different types of these colorway kits. This is the beginner one. It comes with 2 tubes of Toho round size 8 seed beads. It comes with 2 cards of Amiette thread. It comes with a magnetic clasp, and you see that it's got that barrel recess there, which is what we need for this braid. And it comes with 2 twisted wire needles, which is going to make life much easier on us for getting our beads on. So this is a colorway kit, and these are the ones that are on sale right now. Buy one, get one half off. And in a little bit, I'm going to show you all the different color options because it's always nice to see them in person. So this is what we are calling the beginner colorway kit. And even if you're not a beginner, you'll still enjoy it, but it's got the 2 colors, and it's beginner because it's going to be very much easier to see visually when you're working with 2 colors of cord and 2 colors of beads. Now, Megan also put together these other kits, which have, let me show you real quick, and then I will go back to that question of how do we make it thinner. Okay, so here's a different kit, and this one also comes with the 2 different colors of cord, the needles, the clasp, but this one comes with 1 nice big tube of a seed bead mix size 8/0. So the reason why this one is a little bit different is because it's got 1 big tube, and this is the one that we were talking about, some of like those different patterns where you get like a smattering of colors, or you have color on one side, color on another side, and a mix in the middle. This is what's going to let you do some of those type patterns. So let me put this away, and then I want to address that question of how do you make it thinner. Okay, so this kit here that we're looking at is going to make a braid that is this thick. So here is the thickness of it. Hello, Mary Jane. Okay, so here is the thickness of it. Now, this goes into this clasp. We do have to bulk it up a little bit. This is a 6 millimeter clasp, like a barrel end clasp. Like I was saying, you do have other options. If you don't want the magnet, you can use a barrel end cap like this. So you do have options. If you wanted to make it thinner, you would use smaller seed beads. So we're going to use 8s. You would use 11s. Now, the tricky thing with 11s is they are hard to get onto your cord. So what I have done in the past, when I have done a thinner Kumihimo braid with size 11s, I use Griffin silk. So I actually don't use an Amiette or an Eslon. I use Griffin silk because it's thinner and it has a needle already attached to it. So look at this. So if anyone's familiar with Griffin silk, you'll remember, and I'm going to take my time kind of explaining this today because I think I've already seen some really good questions. Okay, so when we do this, right, here's what we're going to be doing here in a minute. Okay. So you put it through the needle and you've essentially doubled it. That is not going to go through a size 11 seed bead. It's going to be too thick. You can try to just put on your 11s here. It's going to be pretty tedious. But if you have Griffin silk, if you remember right, the needle is actually attached at the end by the manufacturer like that. So you don't have the double loop. So you can easily slide on your size 11 seed beads. So if you do want a thinner Kumihimo braid, you're going to want to use the 11 seed beads, and you're going to want to use Griffin silk would be my recommendation. And it can turn out beautifully. I have seen gorgeous, gorgeous, more delicate Kumihimo braids done like that. Tracy, yes, go over sizing. So sizing with the Kumihimo is interesting because it is a thicker braid. You usually need to make it a bit longer than what you would normally make it. Now your clasp itself is going to add about 1 inch, but if you look here, and I put this on, see how it is kind of on the thicker side, and that way you have to boost up your sizing. What I recommend is when your braid is still on your disc, I actually tend to put, so you gotta imagine it's coming out like this, and this looks really ugly, but that gets covered. You put it on, and then I always say kind of try it on your wrist a little bit. If this is your first Kumihimo braid, before you take it off your disc, before you finish the actual beadwork, and see how it fits. And that will kind of give you a good clue. And then you're going to add that extra inch for the clasp. So you probably will need to make it a little bit longer than what you make for a traditional bracelet. So that's just kind of, I like to kind of customize it to myself while it's still on the disc. What size Griffin silk do you recommend? I want to say it's size 4. I'm trying to remember my Griffin silk sizes, but I want to say it's a size 4 Griffin silk. That sounds right to me. All right, so where shall we begin? We have a lot to cover. Oh, let me show you the giveaways. Excuse me. Oh, I might need a break and get more water. Okay, so with Kumihimo, Toho beads are really fun. So we thought we'd give away some Toho beads. These are bead blends. They're really large tubes. Excuse me, I am definitely getting more water here. So we're going to give away 3 sets of 2 tubes. So this is one giveaway. These are both size 8s. And these beads are also buy one, get one half off for the special weekend sale. So the Toho bead blends are also buy one, get one half off. So this is one giveaway. This is another giveaway. Pretty purple, and then this mixed one. And this will let you do, so there's a size 6 and a size 8. If you mix the 2 sizes, this is what your braid looks like. So you get more of a pronounced spiral if you combine 6s and 8s. Okay, so there's another giveaway. And then we have a third giveaway of another 2 tubes. And these are both 6s. So this will give you a little bit of a heavier braid. Okay, I'm definitely gonna go get more water. This will take 2 seconds. Oh my goodness. All right, so my question to everyone is, where do you want to begin? Megan sent these absolutely wonderful samples for us to look at of things that are related to like knitting, crochet, all that good stuff. She also sent all these amazing colorways and kits. Or we can look at those in a little bit and start right away with the technique. So it is really up to you guys how you want to start here. We can definitely do the technique first and then go and show some of the color options you have available, or we can look at some pretty colorways and then do the technique. Start with the technique. Okay, let's do it. Okay, so I have my table set up here. And what I'm gonna do first is show you the tools you're going to need. So if you are new to Kumihimo, you've never done it before, there are a few essential tools that you need to get started. And let me just kind of scooch things up here a little bit. Megan has put together a toolkit for everyone. Now, you can also buy all of this separate, but she has put it in one nice, neat package as well. You will need your disc. So you have to have a Kumihimo disc to do Kumihimo. Let me pull this camera up a little. Okay, so this is what your disc looks like. You have these dots, and these are your markers where you're gonna line up your cords. You can see here that you've got a 16, a 32, a 24, and an 8. That's gonna come in handy. It is a foam disc. So it's got these little slots that you're going to put your cord in. So this is going to work whether you're using the Amiot cord or you're using the Griffin silk. So I do want to kind of note that no matter what you're doing, whether you're doing a classic 8 warp beaded spiral, whether you're doing color blocking, whether you're doing 8-0 seed beads, 11s, whatever you're doing, your technique is never going to change, which is one of the beautiful things about Kumihimo. You don't have to relearn another technique. It all comes down to just bead choice and bead placement. And then Eslon is great too. So Tracy just says, I've used Eslon. Eslon is really great as well. Okay, so you're going to need a disc. In the kit that Megan's put together, this disc also comes with instructions, which is great, and they're color coded. So if you get this and you need a refresher because you know, it's like it's hard, it's gonna be hard to remember all of this. I mean, this video will be available and saved and archived, so you could always go back and watch the replay. But this does have a lot of great instructions. It even has instructions for a 16 warp braid. I just saw that great question about what is a warp. A warp is basically just a strand. So when we put this on, we're going to have 8 warps, which is basically 8 strands of cord. So a warp is just a strand. All right, so this is part of this kit that Megan put together. This kit also comes with some of the other essentials you will need as well. You're going to need bobbins. These are fun. I love bobbins. So this is a pack of 8 bobbins for an 8 warp braid. Now, if you venture out and start doing 12 or 16 warps, you'll just have to get some additional bobbins. And these look like this. This is a bobbin. And I'm going to show you how to wind them, how to use them, all of that. Yes, cat toys, aka cat toys. Absolutely. Oh my gosh. Because I was preloading some, and you can just imagine how much fun Twix was having. Okay, so that's in the kit as well. Also in this kit is a Kumihimo weight. This is what is going to help you get really even tension. The biggest issue people seem to have with Kumihimo is that their braids don't look uniform. So if you look at this sample here, you can see it's a pretty even, consistent diameter here. And if you use a Kumihimo weight, which is what this is, I'll show you how to use it, it's gonna help you keep your tension even the whole way through, so you do get this nice even diameter. If you don't use a Kumihimo weight, what can sometimes happen is certain areas end up tighter and others end up looser. So you end up with a bit of a wobbly braid. So that is in the kit as well. And I'm gonna use that weight from the kit today. And then there's also E6000 in this. And this is the basic toolkit that Megan put together. So E6000 is what we're gonna use to add glue to our end caps, to our clasp, to attach our braid. So those are the basic tools you need. And then you need a pair of scissors as well. I always like to use a twisted wire needle as well, which is what this looks like. And these do come with the colorway kits that Megan put together. So from the colorway kit, I'm going to be taking one of these needles. She put 2 in each kit. They are reusable. So the needles themselves, unless Megan can correct me, the needles themselves are in the colorways, not in the main toolkit for the disc, the bobbins, the glue, and the weight. But I will let Megan correct me if that's correct. She says, yep. Okay. Oh, good. Okay, good. I'm glad you understand it so far. So if anyone is confused, definitely just say, hey, pause, I need clarification. So I'm happy to help. I'll try to get through the questions as best as I can. I see Almost question, what does a 16 warp bracelet look like? A 16 warp bracelet, depending on what you do, it's still going to be a braid, but it's going to have a lot more options for patterns and colors because you've got more strands, so you can do more with it. All right. Okay, let's begin. Okay. So I'm going to put this off to the side. This is the colorway kit I chose again. I chose this one specifically because of the high contrast. And I have preloaded 7 of my 8 bobbins. So you see that that's what that looks like inside. But I wanted to load one right now here live just to show the process. So I have 4 creams, and I'm going to need 4 of the red. So if you're doing 2 different colors, 4 of one color, 4 of another color. Now, I go back and forth, honestly, on how much cord to use. I honestly think you're fine with about 30 inches per bobbin. That makes me nervous for some reason because I don't want to run out, because there's no way to add more cord to your strands later. So I tend to add on the side of like super caution, and I cut myself 40 inches per Kumi braid, but it's up to you. You can get by with less. It just makes me a little bit nervous. So I do 40 inches and I do 40 beads. That's easy to remember. 40 inches, 40 beads for about a 7.5 inch bracelet. You can always add more beads later. So the cord you can't add more of, but the beads you can. So if you find you want to add more beads, you can add more beads. Oh, I love that. So Brenda Lee is saying, I put fray check on the end of the strands and makes its own needle. That is a great, great tip. Oh, can I do a show showing a 16 warp? Ooh, I could put that down as an idea for sure. That would be fun. Why the twisted wire needle? Great question. So the twisted wire needle has a very large eye. And this is the needle that I have found that works with Eslon or Amiot, because this is too thick to go through a traditional needle. It can probably go through like an embroidery needle, but then the embroidery needle is going to be too thick to go through the size 8.0 beads. I have tried a big eye needle before in place of a twisted wire needle. It's not worked very well for me. What happens for me at least, is with the big eye, this gets kind of caught down at the base, and then it starts to almost break through the needle because you're pulling it so much. So I really do love these twisted wire needles for it. They're also very flexible, so they're easy to work with. All right, so let me just take a moment here and try to check the questions. Oh, I'm seeing a lot of, I use fray check and love it. So fray check, it's like, sorry, Diane answered it well. It stiffens the cord. It's like a liquid, and it stiffens the cord. So it makes it almost like a glue needle. If anyone's made a glue needle before, where you take like a tacky glue or something and you put it on it and you let it dry, it basically stiffens it. So when you put it through the beads, it doesn't start to fray. Because over time, this will, with repeated use, start to fray a little bit, and it's going to be hard to get through the beads. So fray check just prevents that and stiffens it a little bit. Oh, hello from Michigan. Hello, Kat. Okay, and then let me see if I missed anything. Okay. Okay, so let's begin. So again, we're doing 8 warp beaded spiral Kumihimo. So I've already preloaded 7 of my bobbins. I'm going to do 1 here. Now I will say I preloaded these a little bit shorter with a little fewer beads for the demo piece here. But if you are making your bracelet, you're going to start with 40 inches. And honestly, you'll probably be able to get away with 30, but why don't you start with a little extra to begin with, get the hang of it, and then adjust accordingly. So my beading mat is 14 inches long. So 14, 28. I love using my beading mat as my measuring tool. Okay, so 28, and then I know my beading mat is 11 wide. So now I'm at 39. I'll just add an inch. It doesn't have to be exact because we're also allowing more than what we actually need. Okay, so we have got our cut length of cord. Amy, it's nice. It just has this little slot you slide your cord into, and we'll put that aside. So now what we're gonna do is we are gonna pop open one of our bobbins, and they're really nice and they're reusable. So you'll just reuse them for every project. And we're going to take this. Oh, hello, Monica. And we're just going to wind it. So there we go. And we're gonna leave a tail of, 15 inches or so. And then you're gonna pop it shut. And what that does is it holds it. So you can see right here where it's coming out of. We can move it around. We can pull some out. We can put more back in. And this is how it's gonna hang, but it keeps all that cord contained. And this is where the cat toy comes in because the cats are gonna love it. Okay, so now we're gonna go to the other side where it's the end one. So great question, are the twisted wire needles in the shopping bag? If they're not, I'm sure Megan can add them. You do get 2 twisted wire needles with every colorway kit. So that's nice, and they are reusable. You'll use them again and again. Okay, so I am going to put this color bead on the darker thread here. And so I'm just gonna put some out. These are size 8.0 Toho rounds. And I'm gonna do 40 beads. For this one, I will do the full 40 because I do wanna show every step that you'll do. But like I said, my sample ones had a little bit less. So here's where this eye comes in handy. You just go ahead and slide it through, like so. Don't come out, there you go. And now you can pick up your beads with the needle. Oh, Megan says twisted wire needles added, perfect. So we're just gonna pick up 40. And don't worry if you miscount. You can always add more beads later, so don't worry about it. The whole point of Kumihimo is that it's relaxing. All right, so I've got 7. So we're gonna slide those down. So they just slide on down and they're going to rest against your bobbin. So I've got 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, okay, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Okay, so we're halfway there. So you see, we just keep putting them on and sliding them down. So counting the beads is a good idea just to get an even amount on each strand, but no, you actually, I guess in theory, you don't have to count the beads because you can always add more later. So you can just put on what you think is right and then go back, and it's really easy to add more beads later. So here's another 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, oops, that's a weird one, 13, 14, 15. I'll just do 5 more, and that gives me my 40. I just saw that comment about the variegated amulette cords. Yes, they're beautiful. And you don't have to do beads. You can do just a solid cord, no beads, which is a really pretty look as well. Okay, so here we've got all of our beads, and I just slipped my needle off. So I'm gonna put this down. I'm gonna put my needles away to use for my next project. We're done with the needles. And you would, of course, load up all your bobbins the same way. Now, I find this many beads to be too unruly when I'm first doing my, my braiding. Yes, you can absolutely make a necklace. So what I'm gonna do is I popped it open. I'm gonna wind in some of my beads. And what I want to do is, to begin with, I'm going to wind them all in for me. So a little extra step here coming up to unwind them, but I find it easier to work with for the next step if all my beads are captured in here. So yes, you can definitely make a necklace. I have heard the math equation of 3 inches of cord for every 1 inch of finished braid. So if that's the case and you're making a 7-inch bracelet, then you would need 21 inches of cord, and then you would need cord on either end to finish it. So maybe 30 inches. That's why I said you probably can get away with 30 inches. I'm doing 40 inches. I just like to err on the side of caution, and you get so much cord on here. It's 22 yards. So that is a lot of cord. So if you're doing a necklace, kind of keep that similar math in mind. Maybe you want a 28-inch necklace, multiply that by 3, and then add some extra on either end. That is a great question, though. Okay, so my beads I'm going to put away now. And you will have enough beads in this colorway kit to make your bracelet and then some. Okay, so now we're going to take our disc back. And what we need to do is line up our cords on here and get these guys basically loaded on here. So you are going to add beads to each bobbin. Yes, so the beads are in this bobbin and they're in this bobbin. So these are all pre-loaded. They look like fewer beads just because I did do fewer beads because I know I'm going to do a sample swatch, not the full length. Okay, so once you've got all your bobbins loaded, you're going to line up all your ends. Okay, so you're just lining them all up. You're going to have 8 of them. And you're going to see in a minute why we want 2 colors of the cord to start with. Now, as you get more familiar with Kumihimo, you can do just 1 color of cord. 2 colors is nice visually because you can really see what's happening. But as you get more used to it, you can definitely just use the same color cord for every warp. All right, so this is what we've got. Can you use amulette cord with size 11 beads? I think it's possible. It's just hard to get them on. I find it frustrating. I thought that fray check was a great idea, or maybe making a glue needle. You definitely cannot do the twisted wire needle with basically the doubling of the amulette and then get it through an 11-0. I have an 11-0 right here. Let me just test it real quick. Okay, so I've got all of this. I just kind of tangled them. I was getting myself a little extra length. You're gonna make a knot. Just a simple overhand knot with all of your cords. Okay, so we just pulled that down. We've got our ends, we've got our cords. Before we go on any further, because there were some great questions there about 11-0, I have this bead mix right here. These are 11s. Let's just try it real quick with the amulette. All right, so to begin with, I'm gonna make sure I have a nice cut here where it's not fraying, and I'm gonna try to just get this on. Yes, okay, so that went on very easily with the size 11-0. I think if you did the fray check idea or you did a glue needle, you would be fine if you want to go ahead and use 11-0s for this. The technique that I'm showing you will not change at all regardless of your bead size. So if you like this technique and you like this idea, but you want to use 11s, totally fine. You're not going to change your technique at all. But yeah, that went on super, super easy. Okay, good. I'm glad we tested that. That way we have an actual answer. I like actual answers versus I thinks, because I don't want to give advice and steer anybody in the wrong direction. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is we're going to hold our disc. I'm gonna put the camera up even more. Okay, so we're gonna hold our disc here's the back, here's the front. We are gonna slip our little knot through it. And now we're gonna line up our strands. So we're gonna do a cord to the left and the right of the 32 dot, the 8 dot, the 16, and the 24. To get the spiral effect, you want your colors to be opposite, or you want, so you're gonna want your 2 reds here and here, and your 2 creams here and here. So let's line that up. It's also gonna make it much easier to visually see how to do this technique. Okay, so we're gonna do this up here, and this is a foam board, and it just slips right in there. This will also work with Griffin silk, and it will work with Eslon too. Okay, so we got 2 up top there, and then we're gonna put the cream over here, and the cream over here. Okay, pull this cream over to here, and this cream over to here. You can kind of see how this is starting to look. And it's okay that I let go of that. We're going to tighten all this up in a minute. Okay, and then to the 16. So those dots are super helpful. They are your guidelines. So now what we're going to do is we're going to get this knot into the middle just by pulling on the back of our cords to kind of get that situated. Keep pulling. You just want that knot in the middle. All right. Okay, so this is our lined up Kumihimo disc. All of our bobbins are hanging below. You can see that. And we are actually at this point almost ready to start to actually Kumihimo braid. So I want to address something real quick because I want to show 2 ways of finishing this braid. And so what I want to first show you is what I have always done, which is I create a bit of braid without any beads. And you can see this is what the braid looks like without any beads. So I always create a bit without beads. And then, this is not very pretty, but I go in and I wrap it and glue it. And this is the way that I was taught. And I trim it off. I can trim some of that. And then at the end of the day, that's going to, we'll trim that, but that will neatly go into an end cap. Okay, so that is how I have always done it. Now, I had someone say in one of the last lives that we talked about this, why don't you just start from the knot and then put that knot into the end cap? I think that is an amazing idea. And it's one of those like, why have I not been doing this all my life? So I do want to try that and show that. I think it's going to work. I think it's going to work better than this other technique. But if not, we have this here. So hopefully that doesn't confuse anybody, but I think it's actually easier and cleaner if we can actually do it from the knot, leave that knot intact, then we trim this and we glue the whole knot into the barrel end. And I think I just missed a couple questions. I'm sorry. Let me go back and review real quick. Okay. All right. All right. Okay, great. I think I'm caught up on questions. Definitely feel free to keep asking them. I'm going to try to adjust my lighting here. Okay. So for anyone who is just joining us, this is a great time to quickly recap. We are doing a beaded Kumihimo today. We are going to be making a spiral bead. We are going to be using a colorway kit that Megan put together. She put together a ton of gorgeous colors. They are buy one, get one half off right now. I will show those all at the end. We're also having a flash sale on our best sellers of 30 to 50% off. The bead blends that Megan has been putting together are buy one, get one half off as well. Oh my gosh. And Tulip right now is 25% off as well. Just lots and lots of amazing specials right now. So I just want to share that real quick. And I think we should do a giveaway. We're going to do 3. So let's pause before we start our technique. This is a really good time. Let's do our first giveaway. Okay. So you have to be here on Art Beads To participate, we are going to give away these 2 beautiful tubes of Toho size 8/0 seed beads. And so what we're going to do is we're going to give away these, and please wait to put your guesses in until I say go. I will say that in just a minute. First correct answer put in live into the comments will win. So this is our first giveaway. Okay, guys, we're going to do a random number between 1 and 100. Go. Start your guesses. Tina, great question. I can answer that as everyone is guessing. So in my experience, I always braided about 1 inch without beads. And I will show this finishing technique. I'm also going to try the finishing technique that was recommended to me the other day, where we start with a knot and we are going to still braid a little bit without beads, but very little. So I will show that here once we have a winner. It's so fun to do these Saturday morning cartoons. I love it. Okay, keep on guessing until Megan pins an answer. You can guess as many times as you like. It's definitely fun to keep guessing. And these bead blends are so pretty. I've used this one a lot already. I like that one. Oh, we have a winner, CNY Lori. Congratulations. All right, CNY Lori, if you could please send an email to support@artbeads.com with your address, and we will get these mailed out to you. Congratulations. Okay, that was giveaway number 1. We still have 2 more to do today. I'll find good pauses between the technique and showing all the pretty colorways. So congrats to CNY Lori. Okay, I'm gonna put those aside. All right, you guys ready to Kumihimo? Okay, got our bobbins, got our disc. We are ready. So this is a starter one. This all lined up. At this point, we're gonna go put our Kumihimo weight on. This is what this looks like. And we're just gonna go from the back, and we are going to basically just clip on to our knot. So you can see that. And what this is gonna do, we're going to be playing with the camera a lot today, guys. What this is going to do is as your braid feeds through this middle hole, this weight is going to keep your tension even, and it's going to drag your braid down nicely through the middle and keep all of this stiff. So if you see this right here, this is nice and tight. It's not loose, and that's going to be extra important when you start to add beads. Okay, so let's go a little lower, and we're going to try to do this up close. Okay, our first start of Kumihimo, and this is really easy, guys, is essentially just left to left, left up to left, right down to right, rotate. Same technique. Okay, so let's just start. So we're gonna start with the 32 dot up top, the 16 dot next to me. We're going to lift this out of its place. So that's to the left of the 16, and we're gonna drag it up to the left of your cord up here. We're gonna take the 1 on the right, and we're gonna bring it down to the right of your cord right here. We're going to do a quarter turn counterclockwise. Same technique. This is the entire technique. So left, up to left, right, down to right, rotate. And you see how we're moving along our board. So left to left, right, down to right, rotate. And then we're going to do left to left, up to left, right, down to right, rotate. I'm going to do one more. Left, up to left, right, down to right, rotate. Now, if you ever need to pause, what you're going to do is you're going to do left, up to left, and stop. And what you're going to do is you can now put your cord down, your whole work surface, you can put it down, you can walk away, you can come back to it at a later date because you know where you left off. You've got 3 cords up top, 1 at the bottom. So don't ever stop with the 2 cords, 2 cords, 2 cords, 2 cords. You will have no idea where you need to begin again. But if you do this, where you've only got 1 cord here, you know where you're going to go next is right down to right when you come back later that day, later that week, whatever it might be. Oh, hello, Zakia. Oh my gosh, I think a couple friends joined us. Hello, LJ. We are doing, and Jackie, hello. Okay, so you can step away from this. You can put it in your drawer. You can do whatever you like. You're not going to lose your place. Now, also feel free to adjust your cords as you go. If this ever gets out of center, just kind of yank them a little bit and you can kind of adjust. And you can always just kind of pull this. Okay, so what we're starting to do, if you can look in here, is all your cords are starting to make a non-beaded braid. I am going to do another couple rotations without beads. Okay, yes, you could totally take it on a road trip. You can take it on a road trip. You can do it on the couch, on your lap. This is a great lap technique. So lots of different things. Can you use small faceted crystal beads? Yes. I have used bicones. I have used magatamas. I have used different shaped beads. You can definitely incorporate different beads into this. You don't just have to stick to the round seed beads. Great question. All right. You can also do this on an airplane. This was something you can do on a plane as well. It's pretty grab and go, which is really nice. All right, I need to do a little bit more, and I apologize, but I'm probably gonna not talk quite as much because I don't want to lose my place as I'm doing this, but you'll see this is gonna go pretty fast. All right, so I'm going to stop again with the 3. Oh, I love that. Brenda Lee is saying, I take it on the plane. All right, so look here. We now are starting to get a spiral effect happening. So what I am going to try this finishing technique where I use the knot and I actually put the knot into the end clasp. So if you're going to do this too, you're going to look at the clasp that comes with your colorway kit. Or if you have purchased a different one, there are several in the shopping bag that are just separate, like barrel end clasps. You're going to look at how long each half is, and you want that to slip into it. So you see here, we could go a little bit longer, but I actually think that that is pretty good. I think that's pretty good. So I'm going to start the beading portion of it now. One thing I do want to also share is, if you look here, this is quite a bit thinner than this. These do come in different sizes. You look here. If you do use a cord end or a clasp that is a little bit bigger, you will want to bulk it up with either that knot. That knot is going to do a fine amount of bulking up, or you can do this technique here that I'm going to show you, where you actually bulk it up with some winding of it. But they do come in different sizes. Like these are amazing, but they are quite wide. So that would probably be too wide for this braid. But if you're using a heavier braiding material, a heavier cord and some bigger beads, these might work. So just look at the diameter of your cord ends or your clasp. I like a 6 millimeter. I think that's a pretty good size. All right, let's get some beads on. So our beads are all trapped in our bobbins. So we need to untrap some of them. Really easy to do. Let me push this down so we can see. So I'm just going to pop open my bobbin. and let some beads slide out, and then re-pop my bobbin. And then when they hang, they are trapped between the disc and the bobbin. So I'm going to do that for all of them. I don't really recommend pulling all your beads out. I find it to be a bit unruly. I like to have about this much cord and beads to work with. You can always pop more out later. So I'm going to do that to all of mine. Just get some beads out. Doesn't have to be exact. Kind of a fun snapping sound too. And I'll show you what this looks like in just a minute. Wow, a lot popped off that one. Okay, I love that. It's very ASMR. Yes, it is. I agree. It is a very soothing sound. Okay, and pop some out here. Okay, so we've popped out all of our beads out of our, well, not all of them, but we've popped out enough of our bobbins. So I didn't stop until I had 3 up here. Always try to remember that. It really will reduce frustration later on. And then this is what it looks like now. So this is the ultimate cat toy. You've got all these dangling bobbins with the beads hanging out. Now, if any of them are too long, you can just wind them up a little bit. It's a very, very nice, and that's kind of forgiving during this phase here. Is like you can just wind that up, make it shorter. You can go and sit at a cat cafe. I love that. You would be the most popular person at a cat cafe. All right, so now let's finish our non-beaded rotation right here. And we're gonna pull this out, and we're gonna rotate, and we're gonna add our first bead. To add a bead, pretty simple. You go here, you pull it out just as if you were gonna do non-beaded. You take one bead, you pop it out, and you let it slide down to the well. And you're going to want it to trap it under the cord that it's going past. And then you pull it up to the top. So you see right there, it's trapped right there. Oh, thank you, Monica. All right, I just thought, what do you do when the cord starts unrolling from your bobbin? So you can definitely add a little piece of tape. If you find that your cord starts to unravel from your bobbin, you can add a piece of tape. That's another reason why I also cut myself 40 inches instead of more like 30 inches, because that extra length in there helps to keep it in the bobbin. If you have a really short amount that you're working with, it will pull out much more easily because it doesn't have a lot to anchor it. So having a little bit of extra cord will help to anchor it. All right, we're gonna now add another bead. Oh, and Megan has a good announcement that our I-cord knitter is also half off this weekend, which is super cool. If you love braids and things like that, it can make a knitted braid, which is neat. And we have a lot of tutorials for that. When adding beads, does it slow you down? Not once you get the hang of it. I'm going really slow right here to kind of hopefully clearly demonstrate this and stop for questions as we go. But you can still go really fast once you get the hang of it and start popping up those beads. So now what we're gonna do is here, I've got another bead. I'm just kind of pulling it from my strand, popping it up. It slides right down, but you do wanna make sure it catches under that cord and pull it down. And then we're gonna rotate. And then I see a question right there. I'm gonna get this bead in place and then I'll answer it. Great questions, guys. That's why we're here. And pull it up. Okay, so this is what I've got. Can you add beads with the I-cord knitter? If so, how? Yes, you definitely can. I think Becky did a tutorial video on it, so Megan can probably link that. If you're doing a 7-inch bracelet, do you load on more beads than what you showed us? Nope, Sharon, the 40 beads should be more than enough for a 7-inch bracelet. When adding beads, does it slow you down? We already got that one, so that's good. You can also always, if you run out of beads, like let's say you put the 40 on and you measure it along your wrist, and then you're like, well, I really want more beads. I still got that extra cord because I cut myself a little bit of generous amount of cord. You can, not the chime, don't worry, we're going past the chime today. You can always undo your bobbin and just add more beads via this other end. So if you do find that you didn't put on enough beads, maybe you didn't want to count them, you just want to put some on and you knew you were going to add more later, you just unwind your bobbin, add more beads from this end, wind it back up, and you're good to go. All right, so here we're going to add more beads. So every time it's the same, just one bead, pop it down, let it catch under, and then down to the right. So your technique hasn't changed. We're still doing left up, left to left, right to right, but we're just adding a bead in the mix every single time. So here we go. And just one bead at a time. It pops on down, it catches under, we rotate, and your weight is really important here because let me get to the 3, always get to the 3. The weight itself is super important because it's keeping these stiff, and when you're trying to catch beads under cords, you want these to be stiff. So that's a very important thing to have, is that weight. That's probably the biggest challenge I've seen people face, is when they try to do it without the weight and they are like, well, my beads don't line up, they don't look right, my cord looks wobbly. And then my first question is always, well, did you use a weight? And that's usually where the issue lies. And then once they use the weight, it straightens out the problems that they're having. So I'm going to keep going because I want to get a nice beaded portion done so we can see what it actually looks like. So I'm going to go a little faster here. And then I want to be able to show the spiral because it's kind of one of those cool like aha moments of like, wow, did I just make that? Like I just did that on my lap by putting a cord up and down and rotating. Which is kind of what my reaction was when I first started doing Kumihimo. I was like, that's a really neat looking, braid that I didn't really have to do a hugely difficult technique for. I love the comment. I love doing Kumihimo. Kumihimo is very relaxing. I'm just going to concentrate on my disc and then I'll review the questions here in a minute because I can't quite look at questions and talk and Kumihimo, but I can talk and I can Kumihimo. So we can get a little bit of space here. But you see, I'm just adding and rotating. Okay. And then like right here, I could feel that this one was getting a little too short for me. So I just undo it a little and it just lengthens it up, which is nice. So I have had a question in the past of, well, what if you miss a bead and you finish your braid? How do you go back and add that bead if you've got like a gap? Honestly, I say just accept the gap. There's really not a way of adding a bead after the fact unless you stitch it in. You could take like a 1G or something or a Nymo and you could try to stitch the bead into place. But there's not really a way through the Kumihimo technique of going back after it's done and adding a bead, because that is another question I've gotten several times. And it's kind of nice clicking sound. All right, we've almost got the spiral started. I'm going to do just a little bit more and then I can show the spiral. And then at the end, we're going to have fun looking at all of the gorgeous, gorgeous colorways that Megan put together and that are on sale for buy one, get one half off, which is awesome. Thank you, Megan. Megan worked so hard prepping this show. The box that arrived for me is probably the biggest box I've ever gotten from Megan, just because she put together so many pretty different colors. And then I can't wait to show them. All right, I'm gonna do left up and stop on my 3. And now we can see we've got some spiral. Let me adjust the camera down because the lighting's a little bit better. But this is what is now coming out of the bottom of our disc. And you can see that nice spiral. So if you are new to Kumihimo, this is brand new for you. I definitely recommend starting with 2 different color cords because hopefully this helps you see very clearly where your cords are going. So definitely start with 2 colors cords and 2 colors of beads. It makes it much easier to learn this technique. Then once you have mastered the technique, which will be pretty quick, then branch out into maybe you just want to use 1 color cord, or maybe you want to do like a really pretty bead mix where you've got all these different colors playing together in the bracelet. So definitely, just start with the 2 colors. I think it'll really help to illustrate clearly and easily how you do this. And then you can always branch off from there. Really cool. I'm going to bead some more and talk. I don't think I missed any questions. Let me just check. Will I be showing more than 8 cords? Not today, but we definitely had a request for a 16 warp. And I know there's also a 12 warp I've done in the past. So we can do another Kumihimo show another time where we do a 12 or a 16. Just put in the comments if that's something you guys are interested in, so we can kind of get a good consensus if we should dedicate a show to that. So we can definitely do that. We can also do it with shaped beads, and the technique won't change. So that's nice too. All right, I'm going to bead some more to get more length so I can show you how to actually remove this and to finish it off as well. Oh, good. I'm seeing lots of yeses and shaped beads. Okay. We can definitely branch into 12 and 16 warp, and we can add things like bicones. We can add fire polish. You can add little mini daggers. You can do a lot with this. So that would be fun. What am I using for the weight? For the weight, I am using this. So this came in Megan's kit. It should be available separately as well. This is a nice Kumihimo weight right here. The main kit for the supplies that Megan put together has the weight, the 8 bobbins, the disc, the instructions. Here we go. The instructions, as well as a tube of E6000. So that's really nice. That comes in the full kit. And then the colorway kits come with the twisted wire needles, the clasp, the beads, and the cord. So that's fun. Megan's really put a lot of thought into how to do this so that it's really easy. Definitely you can do shaped beads. It would be really pretty. Bicones are gorgeous. Crystal bicones put in here. So let me now, as I get a little length, I can talk about some variations you can do, because I can then, what I'll do is I'll go back and check the questions again after. That way I can concentrate on the braiding and the talking, and then I'll review the questions every little bit. Okay, so I'm going to keep braiding, same technique. I'm just popping that 1 bead down, letting it go into the well, catch under my other cord, put it into the slot, rotate, same technique. Okay, so the way we got the spiral was, okay, so let me start from the beginning. The way you get different patterns is not changing your technique, it's changing your bead placement. So when you do Kumihimo, your technique is not going to change. So everything we learned at the beginning of the show, everything we're doing right now will stay exactly the same. The only thing that's going to change to get a different pattern is how you load your beads onto your bobbin and where you place your cords when you line them up. You're still going to line them up in the exact same spots, but what your beads are, where your beads are, on which cord, and how you strung them is going to make the difference. So to do the spiral, we did 4 cords with one color bead, 4 cords with another color bead, and we lined them up, as you saw in the beginning, with them same color opposite each other, right? So that is giving us this. If you want to do color blocking, so this is color blocking. So if you wanted to do a color blocked bracelet, what you would do is when you have your cords, when you have your cords and your bobbins, so you've got your bobbins, right? You would add your beads to each bobbin in this sequence. So let's say you did 15 dark blue, 15 turquoise, 15 white, and you would do that on all 8 bobbins. So you would do the same exact color pattern on all 8 bobbins, and that way basically you would then bead all the way through one color. The next color would pop up, you would bead all the way through that color, and the next color would pop up, and you would bead all the way through that color. So you wouldn't change your technique, you would just change, instead of doing a solid color on one bobbin, you would put 3 different colors of beads in the same pattern on the same bobbin, and you would do that for all 8 bobbins. Same thing if you wanted to do like a bicone focal. You would do like maybe load 12 or 15 seed beads of a color, load however many bicones you want, 12 or 15, and then your seed beads of another color, and that is going to be a focal in the middle of your bracelet that is all woven in when it comes time to put it all together. So have fun experimenting with beads. Just remember, your technique won't ever change. It's just going to be how you put your beads onto your bobbin and in what color pattern. You can also just do a really pretty multicolored one. So if you like the Toho blends, all those beautiful ones that Megan's put together, which are also on sale right now, which is amazing. They're buy one, get one half off as well. You can just have a really pretty multicolored bracelet, and then you don't even have to think about, like, just put 40 of, the beads on one strand, 40 on another, 40, and you can make it all mixed up, and it would be really pretty. All right, I'm going to keep going. So I do want to be able to show how to actually finish this too, because I really want everyone that this is new to. I know some it's not new to and some it is new to. I definitely want everyone who's watching who this is completely new to be able to feel like at the end of the day, they could make a Kumihimo bracelet from start to finish with everything they learned in this class. And this video, of course, will be saved. You can always go back and watch the replay. So if you missed the beginning or you can't remember something exactly, that will be available always as well. I'm just going to keep going. And it's good to always kind of be focusing in on this middle well too. So if you, I'm not going to stop and pause until I get those 3 up top. All right. So it's also good just to periodically be looking in here, just making sure everything's looking right. It should be, and you'll just see that that's just going to keep feeding through it, and you're just going to see that braid continue to develop. All right, so let's do a bit more because I definitely want to be able to pull this off. But I really do feel like once you get the hang of it, this is very much like knitting or crocheting where you kind of stop thinking about what you're doing. It's more muscle memory, and you just kind of can enjoy it being a relaxing technique. Even getting those little beads in there, it really doesn't slow things down. So weird. I'm not looking at the questions right now because I don't want to distract myself, but it's too quiet. Okay, I want to get a little further. I also want to kind of be able to show, like, this does go pretty darn fast. You get used to it. And this is the same disc and the same stuff you would have if you did the 12 or the 16 braid. You would need more bobbins, though. You do need however many warp threads you have is how many bobbins you will need. So if you are going to do a 12 warp Kumihimo braid, you're going to need 12 bobbins. If you're going to do a 16 warp, you'll need 16. I believe they come in packs of 8. So 2 packs should be enough to cover it. And I love that tip of the fray check. If you want to go ahead and use size 11 beads, I think that's a great idea. And then, like I said, I have done it with Griffin silk before. I've done delicas. I don't have the sample anymore, which makes me very sad. I did a wrap bracelet once, a Kumihimo wrap bracelet using size 11 delicas. That was beautiful. That was so pretty. Okay, I'm almost ready to start the finishing technique of this for our sample swatch. Okay, let me try to review any questions real quick. Here is that braid, and you can see it is coming along pretty quickly. It just keeps feeding down through that base. All right, let's see. Let me see. Okay, so great question, Ruth Alice, about the square board. Okay, so the round Kumihimo disc makes a round braid. There is a square Kumihimo disc. It makes a flat braid. So this is rounded, of course. The flat one, it almost looks like a flat piece of ribbon. It is a flat braid. There should be tutorials on that one. I do believe I've heard it said that you can do a flat braid on a round disc and a round braid on a flat disc. I've never personally done it. I've just heard that you can do it, but that's the difference. It's going to give you a different braid. All right. Do you always have to turn counterclockwise? Yes. If you want to try turning clockwise the whole time instead, you can. I think the important thing is that it's always going the same direction. The way I learned it was always counterclockwise, but definitely feel free to experiment for sure. Okay, let me see if I missed any other questions. Oh, Halloween mixes, that would be fun. Did you say the end caps come with the kits? Yes, the end caps that come with the kits are these guys. They are a barrel glue-in end cap. You're going to be using E6000. It came with the main toolkit. If you already have some of the tools or you're buying them separately, you can buy E6000 separately. But these are the end caps that come with it. Then on the website, there are other options too. If, say, you don't want a magnet, there are other ones as well, which are neat. Now, just look at the diameter. Some of them are quite large. I would have trouble doing this one. Maybe if I had the 16 warp braid when we do that class, that might work. But there are different ones on the website to choose from. And you can see there's different pretty ones available. They should all be there in that shopping bag as well. Let me see. As a lefty, I turn clockwise and it works fine. Oh, Andy, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Wonderful to hear. Okay. The one with the 3 colors, how do you make one color at a time? All right. Oh, and then shall we do a giveaway? Yes. Okay. Let me address the colorway question first, and then let's do a giveaway. Okay. So if you want it like this, so remember when we first loaded our bobbin, right? We cut ourselves our 40 inches and we cut it off. Here. Okay. We popped it open and we wound some, right? Okay. And then we had our cord ready to add our beads. And we added 40 beads from the same tube, right? If you want to do a colorway, you're going to decide, like this is in thirds, right? So about 13 beads of each color to make 40, right? That's 39, so it's rough. You would do 13 dark blue, 13 turquoise, 13 white. And that's how you would end up making this color block design. And you would do that for all 8 bobbins. They would be identical. So instead of having 4 bobbins with this color, 4 bobbins with this color, instead you would have all of them the same and you would just load on however many you want. If you want 5 different colors, just divide 40 by 5, which is 8, so 8 beads of each color. So you can definitely do that. Color blocking is super, super fun in Kumihimo. Yes, so let's do a giveaway. Okay, let's do this one. Okay, these are size 6s. Oh, is this also a wrap bracelet? You can make it a wrap bracelet. The numbers that I gave to begin with of the 40 inches of cord and the 40 beads is more for like a 7.5 inch bracelet. Just double that on all of them if you want to make it like a double wrap, or if you want to make it a triple, then triple those numbers. You can definitely make it that. Okay, so here are the larger seed beads. These are size 6.0 Toho rounds. This will let you, if you want to mix 6s and 8s, you can see how you get that heavier spiral. So that's really fun. Okay, we're going to do a random number. Start your guesses now. Go ahead and guess. So 2 tubes to the lucky winner. And then all of the Toho blends right now are buy one, get one half off as well. And there's so many on the website, size 11s, 8s, 6s, just beautiful. So that'll give you that heavier spiral that's a little bit more pronounced. And you can see color choice is also super important when you're doing Kumi. If you want the contrast, you can do a light versus a dark. So you got lots and lots of choices. And just keep guessing until Megan flags a winner. I see so many guesses. Okay, while she's doing that, I might as well get a few more beads on, and then we're gonna finish this off and pull it off the disc. And then we'll still have one more giveaway, and Megan sent me samples of all the beautiful Kumi colorway kits that she made. So I will be able to show those in person here as well. So we'll be able to do that after we show how to finish this off. Oh, I think we have a winner. Okay, let me just get to my 3. Okay. We do have a winner, Sandy. Congratulations, Sandy. If you can send an email over to support@artbeads.com with your address, we will get these pretty tubes of Toho Blend seed beads sent out to you. Congratulations. All right. Okay, let's talk about finishing. Okay, so we are going to pretend that this is the length that you want. Like I said, I tend to, when I'm first making it to figure out how much I want, I will actually keep it on the disc, put my arm in here, and kind of gauge it that way. You do need to size up a bit because it is such a thicker braid, especially when you start using like these larger seed beads too, you're gonna wanna size up. So just keep that in mind. Your clasp and finishing section will add about 1 inch. And the number was 81. So here you go, you can see what that looks like. So keep that in mind for sizing. You're probably gonna need to make it a little bit larger than what you normally make a bracelet. Okay, so let's do the last bead here. And oh wait, is there enough beads in the colorway kit for a necklace or only a bracelet? That is a great question. I'm trying to estimate. I am not 100% sure because I'm trying to kind of figure that, how I can figure out that math. I think it's going to be pretty close. You definitely can't make both. I don't think you're going to have enough for a necklace and a bracelet. I think it will depend on how long your necklace is. If you have a shorter necklace, I think it's going to be okay. If you have a really long necklace, you might want to get 2 kits. You'll have enough cord, but I'm not sure on the beads. I feel like you're gonna have enough beads. It's just since I haven't tested that out, I don't want to give 100% answer, but it's a really good question. All right, so finish your rotation. When you get to the point where you're ready to finish this off, finish your rotation with beads. Rotate your disc. Do a little section without beads now. So we're just gonna now no longer add beads, but we're not changing our technique again. So if you look down here in this well, you're gonna start to see these cords pull together tighter. And so we're gonna go up and down, and up and down. All right, and you see here how it's bringing it together, which is what you want. All right. Can you make skinnier bracelets? Yes. So you can make skinnier bracelets by using smaller beads. You can also do really skinny by using like a griffin silk instead of the amite. But we did test earlier the 11-0 Toho round bead does go on to the amite. We did determine doing something like fray check or a glue needle is going to be the way to go, because you're going to want to, you can put them on without it. They do slide on, but I feel like after you've put on a few, your end is going to fray a bit and you're going to maybe get a little frustrated. So a glue needle or fray check is probably the way to go. But yes, the bead size is going to dictate the thickness of your bracelet. So just even look at this. This is a size 6 and size 8 combo. This is strictly a size 8. So you can see how much thicker just even having one spiral of 6s made the bracelet as opposed to just having both be 8s. And so when you use a smaller bead like an 11, it's going to get even thinner. I don't believe the amite is any smaller than the Eslon. It's feeling pretty similar to me. I'm not 100% sure, but it feels like they're pretty similar. And then, like I was saying, the colorway kits all have these great magnetic clasps, but if you want to use like this was a really pretty end cap I found once, but that allowed me to use a toggle clasp. So you don't have to use the magnetic end caps. You can use a barrel end cap and then connect it to the clasp of your choice. So lots and lots of choices with that. Okay, I think I'm caught up on questions. We are gonna finish this off and pull it from our disc. So if you look here, you can see how we're starting now to develop that spiral without beads, which is important. And I really do. I want to try this technique. I know it's probably terrible to try a technique that you haven't done live during a class, but I have my backup braid. I want just a little bit more length here, and then I'm going to tie a knot. And we are going to try to finish it with the knot technique. because I think that's a really cool idea. And I have not done it before, but I think it makes a lot of sense, and I think it's gonna work. And what I just said is gonna make sense to everyone in just a minute. Okay, so I'm braiding a little more length without beads. Okay, so you can see that spiral effect right there. All right, I'm gonna pull it. So when you pull it, you can take your bobbins off beforehand if you like. It's really easy, just unwind them. And if you have any extra beads, they'll just fall out because we did a sample swatch. And these are all reusable, so you can just reuse those bobbins at a later date. You'll use them for all your Kumi projects that are beaded, so you don't have to buy new bobbins each time. You'll reuse the disc, the weight, the needles that come in your colorway kits. You're going to reuse as well for all your projects. So you'll just be basically refilling beads. Cord has a lot on the cord, so you're going to be good for a lot of projects with the Amiot. And then you'll just need your finishing item like your clasp or your end caps. All right, I'm gonna get all of these off. Okay, so this is unruly because I did a smaller sample swatch so that we could do start to finish during the live here. Yours are gonna be shorter at this point. When you're done, yours are gonna be shorter. You're not gonna have all these extra beads because I did do a sample swatch. I'm comfortable trimming some of these because I'm gonna finish it off. So I'm just gonna trim some of these to get rid of the excess. Okay, how are we doing? Okay, I just want to make it so we can visually see this better. Okay, let's move that aside. All right, so what you're gonna do now is you can take your weight off. Okay, so there's that end. And then you're gonna go ahead and you're gonna go in here and pinch it. And then you're gonna pull all your cords off. You just pull them off. Okay, and we are pulling it through the center. Our disc is done. We'll reuse it for our next project. All right, we are gonna try this technique. Now, the technique that I used to do would have had me braid a non-beaded section for about 1 inch, which I'll show you this technique as well on how to finish it, okay? So this is a new technique that I was recommended and I think it's really smart. So right up towards that non-beaded braided part, we are gonna tie a knot. Okay, and we're gonna slide it on down so it's pretty close here. Now, what I like about this idea is for the end cap, it's wide beaded braid, so you always have to bulk it up. It's easy to bulk up with just more Eslon and glue. But that knot itself is pretty much the right size as the diameter of our barrel and cord, like our barrel magnetic clasp. So we don't have to bulk it up as an additional step. Now, what you want to make sure though is that this is not out here and longer than your clasp, because here is your clasp well. So I am going to try this finishing technique. I do think it will work, I hope. So I've got my plastic baggie here. Always, always separate out your clasp when you are gluing it, because I have had every once in a while a little bit of glue that seeps all the way in and all the way through. And if it's secure, you're going to glue your clasp together. So always separate out your clasp. And what I'm going to do here is I've got my E6000 right here. I've got some toothpicks right here. And we are going to open this up. I think this is a new one. So E6000, you pierce the seal with the lid itself. There's a little pokey in there. And I know this is going to gush out on me the moment I do it. So let me trim this first. So I'm going to trim this. Again, I'm going to look at the size. And I've got a little bit of grace. So that's nice. So I don't have to trim it right at the knot. I can give myself a little bit of room. Okay, so now I've got that. Again, always measure twice, cut once, so that should fit in there nicely. Now what I'm gonna do is I'll pierce my lid. You just poke it, and then the glue starts to come out. Okay. Put some glue there. Put your lid back on your E6000 pretty quickly. It does kind of start to gush out. And then what I like to do is I take the glue and I put it into the clasp and I make sure I go around the edges. So it's kind of down in there, but it's also along the edges. And then we're gonna take our end, put it into the glue, and it works. And I am very happy with that technique. And you are gonna let that dry for 24 hours. So that, you just kind of position it how you want it and make sure that dries fully. Don't rush this process. Okay, so what I am gonna do is I'm gonna show you the other option. I like this option. I think it's way easier than the way I've done it all my life, but I'm going to show how I did it the rest of the time. So the other option is you create a larger section that is not beaded, and you take some cord and you bulk it up because you need something more to grip on the inside of that slightly larger clasp. Okay, and so you can just basically tie it around it. And then this has got a lot of little straggles. I'm just gonna get rid of these. Okay, and then you're just going to bulk it up. So you're just making it thicker. Okay, and then you can tie another knot. Okay, so see how we just bulked it up, and you can keep doing that for however thick you want it to be. This is also the trick you would do if you want to use some of those larger end caps, but your braid is thinner than you want it to be, because the braid gets hidden in it, the non-beaded portion, but sometimes you have to bulk it up. Okay, so you're just gonna do that for as much as you like. And just make sure you knot it. Okay, so now it is thicker than the braid. And what you're going to then do is the same thing we just did before. So we're going to trim this, and you can use a matching color. I used contrasting so we could see what was happening. I'm just gonna trim it. And then you're gonna trim right through here, because it's going to secure that. So this is what you've got now. And then you're going to do the same thing where you put glue into the well, and then you are going to slide this in. And if you use the same color cord, you won't see any of that, but that's your other way of bulking it up so that that finishes it as well. So it's two different finishing techniques. If you use a larger end cap, can you just fold it in half? Oh, maybe. I'm not sure. I haven't tried that, but that's a great question. Is the half off offer only good to the end of the show? I'm going to let Megan answer that. We are having buy one, get one half off of all the Toho blends. And we're also having buy one, get one half off of all the colorways too. So that's really cool. And I'm ready to show the colorways. Let me put this aside. So that is all there is to Kumi. And then you can make all sorts of really pretty bracelets and braids. This is what these barrel end clasps look like here, and you can make all sorts of braids in different sizes. Your technique will not change. So just remember, whether you're using 11, 8s, 6s, your technique is always going to stay the same. And you're always going to use those basic tools, and you're always going to use the bobbins. So just kind of have fun playing with your colors. All right, I think I missed a question or two. I'm sorry. Okay. How many 11-0s would you need? Ooh, could you just use the same length that the 40 for the 8s? You're going to need more. I would, if you're going to try to do an 11-0, I would start, it's going to be a lot more back and forth, and it's going to have to go further. I would give myself 50 inches of cord. It might be way excessive, but I would give myself more cord. And I think you're going to need probably like 100 beads on each cord is going to be my guess. Because it's going to take up not as much room. You can always start with 40, and remember, you can always add more beads as you go. So why don't that might be a good approach. Start with the 40 preloaded, the size 11s, and then just add more from that other end. You'll just unwind your bobbin, add more, wind your bobbin back up. It's really easy to do. So that might be a good approach. And then you can see and measure the length that 40 will give you. And then you can do the math for all future projects. I like that. Can these be turned into earrings? You could do an earring probably if you did where's the sample swatch? There you go. I think the way to turn it into earrings, you would probably, I don't know. I have not made a Kumi earring. I'm just trying to think out loud here. Like, you would probably use something like this that gives you a loop to attach an earring hook to, and it could be like a column, and then you can attach a charm. So you could do like a segment with one of these on either end, attach an earring hook here, and then attach a charm or a dangle here. Great question, Oma. I think that would be a really fun experiment. I haven't done it before, but I always find that there's a way. All right, I want to show you some of these gorgeous, gorgeous colorways, and then we do still have a giveaway. All right, so really quick, let me clear this out here. Megan did send these if anyone is into crochet or just knitting, all these wonderful fiber arts. These are all 25% off right now. They are tulip, so they are beautiful, beautiful quality. I've been using the tulip crochet hooks, and they're gorgeous. So there are some beautiful, beautiful sets right now that are 25% off. So that's another great deal. And then these caught my eye, and I haven't even told Megan this, but I think we have to do a class on these. These are for bead crochet. So if you guys would be interested in a bead crochet class, let me know, and I am going to keep these and not send them back to Megan because I think that would be really fun. I didn't even know we had these. So that's really fun. These are tulip as well. Oh, Megan's saying yes. Lori's saying interested. Yes, definitely a bead crochet class. Okay, I am going to put that for sure on my list. I think that would be really fun, and I didn't know we had these. So Megan, I'm keeping these. I'm going to keep these because they look so fun and pretty to work with. So we will do a bead crochet class. These are 25% off right now with that special tulip sale. I'm going to put these off into my personal stash. Megan sent so much fun stuff, guys. I can't even tell you. She also wanted me to show real quick. We do have bead spinners now. So if you've been interested in those, we've had some requests. Oh my gosh, it just keeps coming. Megan's box was totally Christmas. Totally Christmas. Knitting, all this fun stuff by Tulip. And this is all 25% off. Bead crochet would be fun. Definitely interested. Okay, I love it. Would like to learn bead crochet. I know bead crochet is really fun. Saturday cartoons, bead crochet. Yes. So Saturday morning cartoons tend to be a little bit longer and more in depth. and more specials and more giveaways. So I think bead crochet definitely would be a Saturday morning cartoon one. And just because we want to be able to take our time with it for sure. Okay. Another thing Megan sent, just so that everyone can see a visual, these are on the website. They are 1/2 kilo and full kilo, 1 kilo of seed beads. These are nuts. So if you are a seed beader, these are a great, great item. Oh my gosh, they're really heavy. So those are super neat. Okay, so let's look at Megan's pretty colorways. So like I said, she put together 2 different types. And I want to talk about the difference real quick so that you can see the options. Okay, where? Okay, so look at all this that she sent. This is incredible. So one type is this one here. And Megan, can you remind me of what you called this one? There was like a name. I'm sorry, I'm not going to have the color names. But this has 1 large tube of the Toho seed beads. I know, so many, 31 colorways. It's incredible. So these type of kits here, as you're looking at them on the website, their tube of seed beads is really large. So this one's called Razzle Dazzle. Thank you, Megan. And then it comes also with the 2 twisted wire needles, 2 cords, 2 colors of amite, and a coordinating clasp. Like, this is neat. This one's in gunmetal. And so this is one type of kit colorway that she put together. So this is all the beads you need to make a kumi braid. All right, and then I'm going to show the different colorways of this one, but I want to show the other type too, just so you know the choices. And then the other one that she put together was like the one we used today. So here's another purple one if you're a purple fan. And this one has, instead of that really large tube of seed beads, it has 2 colors of seed beads. So this is going to give you more of that spiral, like what we did today, where it was the technique, you know, where it was the spiral with the 4 strands, you know, the 2 colors divided between them. And then you could do that with these. And so some of the colorways have the 2 smaller tubes, the 2 cords of amite, the clasp, and the needles. And then some of the colorways have the 1 large tube of seed beads, the clasp, the cord, and the needles. Now this can give you, because it's got more than 2 colors in there, this can give you a really pretty like smattering effect. This can give you a really pretty like design where you don't even necessarily have to think about which ones you place on which cord. But what you could also do is you could color block with these. So maybe this is a good example. Like how we were talking about color blocking. This tube here has 3 distinct colors in it. So you could color block the blue. You could color block kind of that galvanized gold color, and you could color block the green. So this would let you do the 3 colors. So as you're kind of choosing colorways and looking at these kits, Megan did provide a lot of different opportunity to do different bead pattern designs. Oh, you're welcome, Jackie. I love these Saturday morning cartoons. I think the next one is going to be probably late July. I have to talk to Megan about it, but I think late July is probably going to be the next one. All right, so you see this one then has the green and the blue. And I'm going to kind of look at these pretty quickly, and then I'm going to do our last giveaway. Okay, what sizes are the beads? They are all size 8-0 Toho rounds. So that's going to give you this size of a braid. So, great question. Okay, so I'm gonna put these in the box as I do this. All All right, so this one is beautiful seed beads here. There's that pretty variegated cord, 2 variegated cords on this one. Megan's gonna pop up the banners for each of these, and then here's a nice antique brass clasp. She's gonna pop up the banners for each of these so you can see them and their color names and all of that. I know, Megan's so good at colors. This is a really pretty one. Oh, I've used this, Swanky Sage. I like this mix. So this one actually has like 4 colors in it, so you can see those seed beads. This would give you a lot of choices for your color blocking with this tube. And then you've got the 2 cord colors. The 2 cord colors really do help visually as you're doing this. And you'll have plenty of cord left over for future projects. For all those who love blue, here's this blue one. And you'll look at the colorways too and see what color clasp you get with them. This one comes with silver. Those other ones we looked at, one was gunmetal, one was antique brass. Can you buy the clasp separately? Great question, Daisy. I think you can. I don't know if we have any in stock. Megan, do we have any of the clasps in stock to buy separately? Yep, we do. Oh, good. So if Megan, if you could please add that to that shopping bag. Just a reminder, all of these are in the shopping bag, so you can see all of them up close and look at them a little more closely than what I'm showing here. And they are all, these are the ones that are on the special right now of buy one, get one 50% off. So nice special on these guys. Can't go wrong with green and purple. Gotta love green and purple. And there's that pretty gold clasp for this one. So this is interesting. You don't have to do a brightly colored kumi. Be thinking outside the box. You can do these nice neutrals. That's really pretty. It'll go with a lot. Oh, Lori's saying, I've only ever done plain kumi without beads. So relaxing. It really is. That's like the comment I hear most often, and I totally agree. Kumihimo is very, very relaxing. I like the black and the cream. That's really nice. And that's a super pretty bead combo right there. So he's got some red, matte. Oh, that's another thing to talk about. So as you are putting together your color combos, these kits are great because they do a lot of the work for you with the color combos. The matte is fun to combine matte and shiny. Be thinking of the different color combos you want to do as they spiral. Like on this one, when I was mixing the 2 sizes, I did the darker, smaller bead in the recess to make the lighter bead pop. So it is fun to think about how you are going to, combine your colors and your beads. This is a nice kind of classic one. This is browns and creams. Those are pretty beads in there. Oh, I love that. I'd like to make a bunch of colors, long, straight, to be sort of like icicles for Christmas tree ornaments. I love that. And that reminds me, you know what I have done before, and it is possible. Where's that one unfinished braid? Where'd it go? Okay, I lost the unfinished braid. What you can do, because I have done this. Okay, so you can take something like this. You can even keep these end caps on it, or you can use one of these end caps, whatever you like. I have actually done a braid before, and I have run a wire through it. I did a white and red braid, and I shaped the wire into a candy cane, and it worked. So I made myself a Kumihimo candy cane once. And I just carefully put a wire through the center core and I shaped it. So that was really fun. So yeah, I love the thought of like earrings. Yeah, definitely like think outside of what you would normally think. You can do a lot with it. So again, I just want to show this one. This is one of the 2. I didn't mean to grab it, but here's a matte and a shiny. So you see that contrast, and that's going to really play up nicely in your braid. And this is one with the 2 colors and the 2 tubes. I love the neutrals. I'm a big neutral person. Could you make wire? I bet you could. Could you make letters? I bet you could make letters. You can do, I've seen purse handles. I've seen belts. Yeah, I have seen a lot of people be really creative with Kumi. This is pretty. I have to bring out the seed bead tube because I have not seen this one. What is this? Guilty Pleasure. Oh, that's a pretty color. I love the AB with that. So you've got some nice colors in that, and then you've got the 2 cords, the needles, and the clasp. Definitely Christmas gifts, great idea for Christmas gifts. Silvery, black, really pretty. I know they'd be even prettier out of the bag, but I also know we had a bit of a longer time this morning, so I definitely want to show all of these. I like that one too. Brown and turquoise, can't go wrong. Kind of like a Southwest feel here with a little bit of green in there. So that's brown, turquoise, green, a little bit, I think that's mocha mauve or mauve mocha in there too. And then turquoise. And remember, these have 22 yards. So a yard is 3 feet. So you're looking at 66 feet of cord on each amulette. So you're gonna be able to use those for a lot of projects. Okay. Pink and brown, we love pink and brown. How can you attach charms to the braid? So if you were gonna attach a charm, oh, this is interesting. Okay. On this type here, I'm not sure. You would have to put a bail on here, and the bail, like a wide hole bail, which I have seen before, and then you can attach a charm. I guess technically you could do a really large jump ring around it. I haven't seen that done, but that would be an idea. But if you wanted to do something like this, where you're finishing it off with an end cap and then you're attaching a traditional clasp, I feel like you could add a jump ring and a charm right here. This would be where you would add it. But great question. I'm sure there's a way of doing it. With this particular style here, somehow you're going to have to go around, unless, I mean, these are 8/0 seed beads. I wonder if you could even somehow attach a jump ring through it. I don't know. I think you'd have to experiment, and then you have to put pictures on our Facebook group of serious art beaters, because I think it'd be really cool if someone can figure out a neat way of attaching charms. Could you add a charm instead of a focal on the inside? Yes. Yes, you could. You could. That's a great idea. All right, because you have the flexibility of these bobbins, because remember, this part's anchored, right? This is in your Kumi disc. This is anchored, so you're not able to adjust this end. But at any time, you can unwind your bobbin and add something to this end. Technically, you could slip a charm onto here, and then you would just braid it into your Kumi braid. And I think that that would work. That's fun. That's a really fun idea. Like, how can you do it? Because remember, you always have the flexibility to add anything else you want from this side at any time, and then you just rewind it into your bobbin. I like that. So the tubes of seed beads are buy one, get one half off as well. So buy one, get one 50% off for all the Toho blends that Megan's been putting together. So the Toho tube blends, and this is actually going to be our last giveaway. I don't think we haven't done it yet. Okay, let me get through the colorways, and then we're going to do the last giveaway for these 2 tubes. But they are also on sale right now, which is awesome. All right, and then one more here, really pretty, that variegated color here, and brown. And then, like I said, Megan's been working so hard, and I see a bunch of purples. And we're gonna do a purple class on Tuesday. I had fun putting that together yesterday. All right, oh, this one we already looked at. And all of these are in the shopping cart, but these are now the ones with the 2 distinct tubes. So you get, and let me just review what you get in this type of colorway kit. So here you're gonna get your 2 tubes. This is a pretty one. You're gonna get your 2 tubes. You're gonna get your 2 colors of cord, your 2 tubes, your 2 colors cord, your 2 needles, and these are reusable for all your projects, and your clasp. So that's really nice. I know purple is the best. Purple's just a happy color. So in these ones we're going to be looking at, you get the 2 tubes of seed beads. Oh, this is pretty. So this is like a cream and a green with a couple seed bead colors. They should all be in the shop. Yes, all of these should be in the shopping bag and on the website. All of these colorways are buy one, get one 50% off right now. All the Toho blends are buy one, get one half off. The I-cord knitter is on a super sale right now as well. It is actually half off. It's down to $22.95, I think. There's our chimes again. We're also having a sale right now on the whole website of bestsellers being up to, I think it's 30 to 50% off bestsellers. So lots happening. What time did this class start? Oh, the class started at 8 a.m. Pacific. So these Saturday morning ones tend to be a little bit longer because we do a little bit more of an in-depth technique, or we have something really exciting to share. So they tend to be a little bit longer. They are saved and archived. You can always go back and re-watch the replay if you missed anything in the beginning, like sizes and measurements and stuff like that. All right, so here's nice classic black and white. So we've got crystal and a matte black. That will look beautiful in a spiral. And then you've also got the black and white ambient, some really good staple colors right there. Ooh, this is like Victorian purple. This is pretty. I'm not going to pull out all of them, but I'm definitely seeing my favorites, so I'll pull out. This is gold and purple. And then you've got your 2 colors of ambient. And then you've got your needles and your clasp. So this one has a appropriate gold clasp here as well. All right. And I want to make sure I put these all back in. Sorry, Megan, if I'm missing a pack. Oh, I left a pack of needles out. Oh. All right, greens, beautiful, beautiful greens. Yes, these kits are buy one, get one 50% off. Oh, a rainbow mix would be so pretty. And you could do rainbow. You can color block red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple. You can absolutely do a rainbow Kumi bracelet. That would be so pretty. Navy, good like nautical one. We've got white. And this looks like a silver-lined frosted crystal. Yeah, rainbow. I love the idea of rainbow. So this is a nice nautical one right here. And I think Megan's putting up the banners for each of these, and then they're in that shopping bag as well. Ooh, a pretty matte gold. I know, I feel like I got to show the beads because I can see the cord color really easily. Like here's the 2 colors of the ambient, but here's the beads. They're so pretty together. All right, and we still have that one giveaway. We're almost there. Okay, these are the last ones. Some beautiful purples, just gorgeous. That's a gorgeous purple. And another purple. So you can have like light purples, dark purples, kind of mauve purples. And this is pinks. Cream. Oh, I like this color. This is pretty. It's like a sea foam, like a dark sea foam. And then this, really pretty. Another kind of neutral one here with like, what is this color? Gold lined black diamond. And then the other color in this one is a galvanized cool gray, matte galvanized cool gray. Pretty, pretty. Last one, and then we'll do our giveaway. This is another nautical. We've got silver and blue, and we've got white and navy. I love it. So the cord is called ambient. I'll show it real quick. So this is what the cord is. It's called Amiot. It comes on this nice card. It is Toho, if you see here. So it's really nice quality, and it is 22 yards per card. So you're getting a lot of it. So you're getting a lot, and you're getting 2 cards in your kits. So this will keep you busy for a very, very long time because, oh my gosh, I can't math this morning. But we only used, let's see, we did 40 inches, which was generous. You can probably do 30 inches. We did 40 inches times 8, 240 inches. So how many, 22 yards is 66 feet. Whoever can do the math, 66 times 12 inches. So 66 times 12 inches. Yeah, you're going to have a lot of cord. We're just going to say you're going to have a lot of cord. There's a lot on here. So, the cord will be reusable, like you'll be able, not reusable, but you'll have enough cord for other projects. The needles that come in the kit are fully reusable. And you've got the seed beads for the colorways and your clasp. All right, that's a lot. So all of those, yeah, it's too early to math. I agree, it's too early to math. Let's do our last giveaway. I saved my favorite. This is my favorite blend. I love this one. This is so me. So here we go. So we are going to give away, and yours will be full. I've used both of these for different projects. You are going to get both of these, and we will send them out. So random numbers, start your guesses. So start guessing random number between 1 and 100. First correct guess will win. You are welcome to guess multiple times. You have to be here on artbeads.com during this live. So we find the first winning comment, winning answer in the comment section here on Artbeads during the actual live here. If you are on YouTube or Facebook, you still have time. Pop on over really, really quick. Put your comments here in Artbeads and you'll be eligible to win. And then Megan has that quick reminder. Don't forget to check out before the end of the live, especially if there's anything that you really, really want. I'm not quite sure how many of each colorway were produced. But so much fun. Kumi's always fun. I've loved Kumi for so many years. I just feel like it's not just that it's relaxing, but it's kind of like one of those feeling like I made that. I did that. It's so neat and tidy, and it's really pretty, and it's just, you can do so many different colors. And I think we'll do a class again on a 12 or a 16 warp. That will be fun. Maybe what we'll try to do is with size 11s. With that one, I think that would be neat. So let's do that. Let's try to do size 11s with a 12 or 16 warp braid next. Oh, Kat, congratulations, Kat. Send an email, please, to support@artbeads.com to get your address. So we get your address, and then we can send these off. All right, guys, I'm going to flip the camera up. I got to clear my seat. And Megan, I'm keeping these. We're going to do a bead crochet class, so that will be really fun. I'm going to keep these tulip needles for the bead crochet. All tulip right now is 25% off. Okay. All right, let's flip this back. Great questions, everybody. I hope everyone feels confident that they could do Kumi. All right, thank you, guys. Like I said, I hope everyone feels confident that they can do a Kumihimo braid from start to finish and actually make their project. If you have any questions, always feel free to post them, even in other lives. So like Tuesday, we're gonna focus on purple. But you're always welcome to ask a Kumihimo question on a different live, or any technique you like. Definitely, please feel free to ask questions wherever we are, because we're here as a resource to answer them. Thank you so much, Megan, for all your hard work. I know that there was a lot. This class will be available on replay just shortly after we say goodbye. So that's nice. So you can always go back and rewatch if you came in a little bit later. We did make I think it's called a standard. It's a standard 8 warp beaded Kumihimo braid, and we spiraled our beads. As we talked about throughout the class, you don't have to spiral them. You could do color blocking. You could do rainbow. You can do whatever you like. You can make a necklace. We talked about making earrings. Lots of good stuff in there. Oh, good. Oh, good. I'm glad that you like that you could go back and rewatch. Definitely handy, especially for techniques like this. You can always pause it, which is nice. Just always remember when you're doing the kumi, my 2 biggest tips, definitely have the weight. You will be happier with your braid. It will be more uniform, and your beads will catch more easily where you want them to like catch under those other cords. So have your weight, and then when you stop, make sure you have those 3 braids or 3 cords up at the top and 1 down at the bottom. You will never lose your place, and you can step away for a day, a week, a month, whatever it is. You can always go back to it and know where you left off. So those are my 2 biggest tips, the weight and how you end it when you pause. So thank you, everybody. I hope you guys all have a great Saturday. I got to figure out what I'm doing. I'm not sure. Hubby's away. I'm going to figure out something fun with the kids on this hot day here. Probably hide in the air conditioning a little bit midday and then go out and do something. Thank you, guys. Happy Saturday. Thank you for joining me. I'll see everybody next week. Thank you, Megan.